Hi, this is Fred Martin. I had the enormous privilege of working with Orson Swindle and compiling the cover article for the February-March issue of Veterans Life magazine. It was a very humbling experience to be able to collaborate with Orson and to be able to tell his story in this article. When you study veteran and aviation history, you have the privilege of meeting men and women who have achieved more and endured more for their country than many of the rest of us can comprehend. Orson Swindle was a Marine F-8 Crusader pilot. That's a supersonic attack fighter, the first fighter to fly faster than 1,000 miles per hour. He flew over 200 missions from the Da Nang Air Base in Vietnam. On his last scheduled mission, number 205, he was shot down over North Vietnam. Imagine being shot down in your last mission when you're ready to go home, and then he was imprisoned for nearly 7 years in several POW prisons, including the infamous Hanoi Hilton. He was a cellmate of John McCain. This was almost 7 years of severe deprivation, beatings, and torture. He returned from the war and was reinstated as fighter pilot, flying the Skyhawk and other types. He received 20 decorations, including 2 Silver Stars, the Legion of Merit with Combat V, 2 Bronze Star Medals with Combat V, 2 Purple Hearts, 2 Personal and 11 Strike Flight Awards of the Air Medal, the Navy Commendation Medal with Combat V, the Combat Action Ribbon, the Prisoner of War Medal, and others. He retired from the Marine Corps in 1979 with the rank of Lieutenant Colonel. Now, I might stop there, but I won't. In the Reagan administration, he became U.S. Secretary of Commerce. In 94 and 96, he ran for Congress from Hawaii. In 97, he became Commissioner of the Federal Trade Commission of the United States. On September 2, 2008, he gave the opening speech on the second day of the Republican National Convention. So this is a story of courage, survival, and transcendent achievement. I have spent much time reviewing the copious online materials on Orson Swindle, many articles, videos, interviews about him, and I read McCain's book, Faith of Our Fathers. But I have not seen as candid and detailed a narrative of Vietnam POW experience as Orson has given to Veterans Life magazine. It is difficult to be this forthright about such terrible experiences, and people are afraid to ask survivors about such painful things. So the story of Orson and all POWs has been undertold. For me, it has been a truly humbling and privileged experience to help in compiling this story. Orson was our keynote speaker at the 2025 Vietnam Symposium held at the Broomfield Auditorium, sponsored by the City and County of Broomfield. In scheduling my talks, some people say, well, history's okay, but I'm just not into the war stuff. Now, inside my heart, I think, but I don't say it out loud, shame on you. You see, I started doing history presentations after I wrote a book about my dad in World War II. He flew the Himalayan hump and ferried B-17s to Europe. So I started to simply honor my father and mother for their roles. But the thought has always gnawed on me that as a non-veteran, I have lived a comfortable and prosperous life in America. Therefore, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to what others have done in war in my stead. I must take an interest, we all must, in order to be deserving of our citizenship. All Americans should know what happened to these heroes and what they endured for our country. What they did lends a critically important, higher perspective to the current, undignified and unworthy state of politics and social discourse. What they did is a higher calling that we sorely need to learn from. So, Veterans Life magazine just secured a VA contract to distribute the magazine to veterans nationwide. They even have a special edition for prisons, which must be produced without staples. This is for the many veterans who are in prison. Veterans Life needs your support, and you need this magazine. By the way, if you have a story to contribute, give me a call. I specialize in curating the stories of veterans, aviators, and their families, and we could have more articles. I urge everyone to support this important Veterans Life cause and to honor Orson Swindle by getting this collector edition.